Today we are going to talk about nail structure, super important, and we have the perfect person to teach us today. Melissa DeLaCruz, what will you be showing us?
I'm going to build a nail and show you how I properly build it to where your thicker parts are in the right spots. And sometimes people build them right, but they mess them up filing. So I'm going to cover the filing, where you file more, where you leave it alone, all that stuff. You'll have to watch it.
From start to finish, how to structure your nails. Let's get started.
So today I'm going to demo and show you how to properly structure a nail to where it won't break. Where's your thickest points? Where's your thinnest points? So let's get started. So first I'm going to form a nail. I had already built a nail earlier, so when I'm done building this one, I could go ahead and start electric filing it and kind of show you exactly like where the thicker and thinner spots are. I'm going to build it in acrylic. Whether you're building it in acrylic or gel, it's still the same structure. Your application is going to be pretty much the same. There's certain parts of it that will be thicker. It's usually at your stress point, and I'll explain that as I go. So let's go ahead and get started. Usually when I build a nail, I start on my free edge. You can build it from cuticle to free edge and still get the same structure. I feel it's easier to break it down in steps to show you where your thinnest parts are and where your thicker parts are. So first I'm going to do my extension. So I'm going to pick up my first pearl, draw out my monomer. Why I'm drawing out my monomer is so some of the liquid comes out so it'll set faster. Then I'm going to press it right at the free edge. Wipe my brush, use zone 2 and 3 to bring it up to my sidewalls. Wipe my brush again. It's a little cool in here, so when it's a little cool, you're gonna have to play with your acrylic just a tad bit till it starts to set up. So I keep wiping my brush. That helps me to get out all my liquid. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a free edge and a platform to build on. What I like about doing it this way is I already have my thinnest spot here. And you always want your free edge a little thinner than the rest of the nail. And I'll explain why as I go. Okay, does it look like it's gonna stay there? There we go. Okay, once you have your extension built out, from here what we're going to do is I'm going to drop my first pearl down in reverse, meaning I'm going to start at my cuticle area. What this is going to allow the acrylic to do is as you hold it down, gravity takes over. And while gravity's taking over, it's going to stay its thinnest part right here at your cuticle. You want your cuticle to be very thin as well. A lot of times what people do is they'll set it down and hold it flat. And what happens is your product's going to go to the side, so you're juggling it from side to side. Get in the habit when you place your pearl down in reverse that you anchor the finger down. It's really important. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the reverse. And come in here, pick up a pearl. So what I'm going to do is anchor it down. When I set it down, I walk it around my cuticle. See how I'm making sure it's my thinnest part and connecting it all the way around. As I hold it down, I'm going to let it go down halfway. See how it's the thickest part right here? What I'm going to do here is just blend in with zone 1, the very tip of my brush, to blend in my acrylic. Why am I not letting it flow all the way down? I'll explain. This is a little bit of a longer nail, so you're going to need it to be thicker right here. This is your apex. This is where all your strength is in your nail. So if you don't build it a little thicker through here, you've probably noticed some of your clients may come back with a crack right here and it's very painful. If you hit something head on and you don't have structure in the middle of your nail, it's gonna crack and be very painful for them. It also kind of gives it that really sexy, pretty shape of a nail as well, having it a little thicker in the middle. So you could see I need to add a little more. So I'm going to come in with my second pearl. I'm probably going to draw out half of my monomer when I pick it up. I'm going to come in backwards, put pressure and melt it into the back of my nail. Then I'll wipe my brush, come into zone 2 and 3, and mold the nail. So I'm putting more pressure at zone 3. If this is 1, 2, and 3, if you put pressure at 3, you're keeping your free edge really, really thin, and it's pushing up your bulk to where your stress point needs to be. Okay, it's also less filing. Now there's a misconception. A lot of people think the thicker the nail is on the free edge, the more stronger the nail is going to be. Honestly, I make mine as thin as a credit card on my tips. What matters is right here. And I'm going to break that down. After I file, I'll end up cutting off a free edge of one so you could literally see the different layers of thickness. Okay, so when you're done, you'll be left with, it might not look totally perfect, but it's in all the right spots. My thickest area is here. It kind of graduates up and then graduates down. That's how you'll find that you have your proper structure. As you can see, this one right here I built already. My thickest point is right here. So let's say someone has a shorter nail bed like to here, okay? You would make sure you started it coming up from here to here. So wherever their free edge is, where it ends, needs to have the most product, the highest part of the nail. Most people have longer nail beds when their nails are healthy, but when they're not, you may start your arch from further back and graduating all the way to the free edge. So let me give you an example. This one it's already dry. I built it before so I could kind of break it down. What I'm going to do is electric file it for you first, what I would do from the beginning. I usually go straight into my electric file, but I'm going to show you with the hand file on the side first. So what I'm going to do is align it straight with my sidewall. Okay, so when I align it straight with my sidewall, I'm going to put pressure with my fingers here and just file straight. What this is doing is showing me that it's even with my sidewall. Okay, you could do both sides if you'd like. Then you could turn the hand to the side. How do you know what's hanging? You line your file up even with the sidewall. This is your sidewall. This is your sidewall. So I'm doing more of a tapered square. So what I'm going to do is line it up. All that hanging is what I need to file off. Okay. Eventually you could do it with electric file. Maybe when I file this one, I'll do that. But when you see this hanging, you need to start at your lower point and file straight up till it meets with your sidewall. See how it's straight now? Let's measure it. It's completely straight. So you're going to repeat the process on the other side. Okay, there's always going to be a little bit of a hang. When you sculpt, there's going to be a little bit of a hang, but I don't mind it because it helps get it perfect. If you try to bring it in with just your acrylic and your application, it's going to take too long and it's never going to be perfect. You always perfect it with your electric file. So this side, there's my hang. Again, lining it up with my sidewall. I'm going to start at my lowest point and I'm going to file till it meets right here. So I'm going to file straight until it meets right with my sidewall. Okay, so once I'm there, I'm going to go into my electric filing. Let me break it down when I'm electric filing. I'm kind of breaking it down with electric filing skills because I find a lot of people will apply it right, but they mess it up when they electric file. So I'm going to explain as I go. I'll break it down in zones, zone 1, 2, and 3. The nail will be zone 1, 2, and 3. This side will be 1, 2, and 3, if that makes sense, okay? Because you'll find I do not electric file much in zone 2, okay? Because that's my stress point. At the end, I may tighten it up. So let's get started. So what I do is I always start from the side. Go ahead and secure my cuticle area with zone 1 going into zone 2. When I hit zone 2, I like to stop. Then I'm going to go in from 3 into 2 and let them meet. Okay, so from here, see how you're left with it a little flat and you see thicker on your sides here? What you're going to do from here is look down the barrel of the nail and you are not going to touch this part of the nail at all. Remember, this is zone 1 now, zone 2, and zone 3. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3. You're going to meet your zones with your file and your nail. So I'm going to focus on bringing this end really tight. This is already filed. I don't want to touch that. And this is where people make their mistake. I see it all the time. You're going through all the zones. After you looked at it from this view, it looks pretty perfect. So if you're going through all your zones here, you're then filing it too flat and too much. Okay, so let me show you. You'll come in with Zone 1. And you don't need a lot of filing. All you're doing, let me do one side and show you. I'll break it down really slow. Get your free edge a little so you could see it better. When you look down the barrel of the nail, see how this is going, how your natural nail normally goes? And this is still bulky. So I'm going to come in from this angle with Zone 3 and bring in the other side and meet it up right here to Zone 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's come in with Zone 3. I might tidy up a little bit of Zone 1 still. Just cleaning up everything. Sometimes I like to do this as well. I like to come in with my drill bit and bring it straight up. See how straight it got? And then do it to the opposite side. This just helps me get my nails really straight. Okay, so let's go ahead and repeat process here. One more time, and I'll do it without my hand file now. Let's do it all with my electric file. So remember before on this one I filed first? That's correct. When you're first starting, I would recommend that because it kind of gives you a visual where you could file, where you need to file, if it's straight or not. So I'm going to go in straight with my electric file right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square it off a little. Okay, so again, if you can't picture it and you want to do it with your file, like to measure, look how much is hanging. That's actually a lot that's hanging, but I'm going to take it all off with my electric file. I'm going to come up right here. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other side. Now I'm used to looking at it. I know all of this part down here is hanging. So I won't measure it. I'm just going to go for it. Start on the bottom part and work your way up to the middle. And then come in right here. Make sure it's pretty straight. Okay, so now let's look at it from the side. I kind of took care of my sides. They may not be perfect, but at the end they will look really well, really good. Okay, so here we go. So here, I could tell I have a little bit more here to get, not a big deal. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and blend in, and I'm looking at it sideways. Your view that you're seeing right now is what I'm looking at, okay? I'm not doing it on top of the nail and just guessing how much I am filing. I'm physically looking at her fingernail, not at the drill bit. That's another thing that people go wrong with. When you look at the drill bit, how do you know where your drill bit's going? You're busy looking at the drill bit. It's kind of like when you drive a car, you look ahead of you and your hands aim, right? If you look in front, you're gonna wreck yourself. The same with electric filing. Look at your fingernail and your hand and drill bit will naturally go to where you're looking at, okay? So let's go ahead and look at it from the side view. In the side view, I'm not bringing it all the way around where my drill bit's disappearing. If you see your drill bit disappear like this, how do you know you're not getting her skin or it's gonna kick back and cut her? I'm only taking care of her arch on the side. Remember, all these sides I'm gonna take care of when I come in this way, okay? So if you follow all these steps, your structure is gonna come out perfect every time. And you'll repeat the process on every single nail. Okay, so come in through here. Now I'm going into zone 2. Kind of lighten my touch a little because I don't need enough. I'm gonna go from 3 to 2. Okay, I could always come back and get more if I need to, but that looks pretty good to me. So what I'm gonna do from here is now come through with zone 1. And again, I'm rounding it to come up and meet what I took down in zone 2. Okay, I could show you this as well, might as well, so you could see the difference. If you look at the nail right here, you could see how I properly brought it all in, but here you still have some bulk here. So right here, I'll use zone 3 to bring it in. Okay, and as you're looking at right now at that view where you could see the angle, that's how I'm looking at it when I'm electric filing it. See how I'm holding my finger? See how it's down like this? I put my thumb up and bring it up. This gives me the visual. I'm not compromising my body like this or getting down crazy trying to be like acrobatics doing nails, but we tend to do that, especially when we're learning. When you're there all day, you need to be ergonomically right or more comfortable so you don't wake up with a stiff neck every day. So I literally bring my client's finger just like this, okay? So then I come in with zone 3. See, it's okay if you go back to 1. Sometimes when you bring in this side, it looks like you need to bring in your other side a little bit. Okay, when I look at it like this, let's go ahead and make it a little more straight. Okay, look at it from the side. You see your arch in there? I could blend it in a little more right here. No big deal. And when I hand file, I'll hand file this perfect, okay? But you could see your arch coming in. You could even bring it in a little more here thinner, just a tad bit. So most of your arch is right there. But when I'm electric filing, I cover all my ground and I go back and look at it again because sometimes I need to bring it in and make it a little tighter like I just did right now. When I first did it, it looked perfect, but after you bring in your sides, you look at it at the side again and you could see spots you could get, okay? So from here, what I'm gonna do is take my 150 file and I'm gonna file it to perfection. So what I'm gonna do is start off here, clean my sides. I kind of go back and forth with it till it looks straight to me. Then I'm going to angle my file, kind of using this part of it as an angle. And I like to start from one side and going all the way to the other. So my file is kind of doing this. And I use my left hand to help me as well. Okay, now I'm going to blend everything in. I like to look at it from the free edge. You see how I went back to my side? Because once I blended in everything, I saw that I could bring it in a little more tighter. Let's make this real straight. That looks really good. Let's make this real straight. Okay, dokie, on to the next one. Let me get my sides first. Now you don't have to get your sides first. It's just easier for me to bring in my sides so I could see where to go from there. It's completely up to you. You could blend everything in, then come in the sides. I find it's easier on the sides because what it does, let me show you what it's doing. Let me do this side. So as you could see, what I did was take in my sides before I started blending everything in. I find it easier if I do that because you could see once I blend them in or bring it in a little bit more, I could blend in the sides a little bit more, okay? I bring in my sides. Now I'm gonna take care of my free edge. Again, see how my left hand works with my right hand. I'm always using both hands in motion. And while I do it, I look down the barrel to make sure everything's the same thickness. Now I'm gonna blend everything in. I start from my cuticle, and this is the movement I'm doing. I'm kind of going the grain of the nail. Now the opposite side, I like to start at my cuticle and work my way down. Around the cuticle area. Okay, I always look at my neighbor. I need to bring it in a tad more. They all need to look related, right? This one was a little bit wider. Okay, so what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna look at it this way. Okay, when I look at it this way, this is gonna help me perfect my shape and make them all really look the same. Okay, so I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna put these fingers down. I'm gonna come in here. See how I put pressure with my thumb and come in? Okay, let's do that to the other side. I'm anchoring the other side, putting pressure on this side, the opposite side that I'm filing. Looking down the barrel of the nail. Okay, so now this one. Everybody always favors a side a little bit. It's just naturally how our hands go. This side's pretty tight. Let's square it off. Down the barrel. You can see this side's a little higher. And it's just very minor. So all I'm doing is just every step I'm doing is getting it more to the proper structure and more to the proper strength. Okay, so now I'm going to break this down even more. Okay, so when you look at them from the side, your thickest point's right here on your nails. Okay, consistently. Even if you look at it this way, you really could see it this way. Okay, let's look at the free edge. Look at how thin the free edges are. Okay, it's also thin back here. Your thickest part's in the middle. So let me cut this now. Let's show you. Do you see the difference of it? Huge difference. So your thickest part of your nail is always going to be here. Where people make the mistake, one, they may not build it up as high. Okay, let's say they do. If they don't, it's right off the bat too thin. If they built it up like I built it up and then they end up drilling here a lot and going through zone 2 and making it a little flatter, it's gonna be the same thickness all the way through and you're not gonna have that strength. I hope that helped you. I tried to break it down as much and as clear as I could to where I understood it when I was taught it. I hope this helps. So thanks, have fun with it.
Thank you so much for watching our nail videos. To check out more, head right over here, and to subscribe to our channel, click right over here.